All right, guys. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Back at home. Big travel day yesterday, and I did something. On purpose. Yesterday, I wore my Cowboys stuff all throughout. We went through customs, coming back into Charlotte, North Carolina. Then we flew all the way across the country. But I wore all my Cowboys gear just to get a feel of what people are going to say to me, because they were doing it a lot during those last few days when I was at the Bahamas. But I got a lot of how you like that new coach, and we coming back. So the energy I feel within the fan base is pretty good after the hiring of Mike McCarthy. This is and I had to think about it when I was on a plane, and this is why we didn't need a guy to come in and build this whole thing back up to where it can compete again. Some of us did witness that, and there's a special charm in that. There's no problem. That's how I built this channel. It's when I started this channel the first year Parcells got the job, because I wanted to go step by step with the organization when they were building, what Bill Parcells was building. But before Bill Parcells, we had just worked our roster into absolutely nothing. And Bill had to come in and completely rebuild this thing from the ground up. And the thing is, we don't need that right now. And everybody knows we don't need that right now. The Cowboys have a team currently that they can win with. We have a top-notch running back, one of the best in the league. We have I'll say this right, we have a statistically top 5 quarterback. Now, I'm a big fan of Dak Prescott and the things that he does. Some people don't like him, but he is, numbers-wise, one of the best quarterbacks in the league this past year. A very good offensive line and a decent wide receiver core. We've got to watch those drops, and we've got to address those drops or whatever, but the wide receiver core is pretty good. Also, we had a defense that was top 10 most of the season. So, so we have talent. So, most people felt like we needed a guy who knows football and can get the best out of the talent that we have currently on the roster. A new coach usually doesn't have to come in that type of situation. Usually a new coach comes in turmoil and has to find his quarterback and has to do all that kind of stuff. And Mike McCarthy has to do none of that. So that's another reason why we feel good about this. And add this, because this came to my mind as well. Imagine if we had, and no offense to these guys, but imagine if we had hired Matt Rule or Joe Judge, people we know little about. We would have an unknown thing out there responsible for the careers of like Tyron Smith, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I would be at least a little nervous about that, to say the least. I would be just combing the internet, finding as much information I can about Matt Rule or Joe Judge. So I get to feel that most of us are pretty good. Now, on to Kellen Moore, because the kids are screaming out there. I told my wife to keep them down, but they just won't. You people who are parents understand. But on to Kellen Moore. I said on my last video that Kellen Moore, I was worried about him, and I was worried about and it has less to do with Kellen Moore than it does the whole thing, and I'll tell you why. There's 3 reasons. Now, the first reason is the only real reason why Kellen Moore really worries me. The other 2 are kind of me probably like thinking too much. So just remember, 1 is good, 2 and 3 is like, Django, you're thinking too much. But my number 1 reason that makes all the sense in the world is that Kellen Moore has to learn too. Kellen Moore was taught by Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett. He ran their offenses. He ran Jason Garrett's offense. He didn't run Kellen Moore's offense. So Mike McCarthy will be bringing in his own offense, and he has to teach his offense to Kellen Moore. So essentially, we'll have Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott learning the same offense at the same time. And I kind of don't want my coach and quarterback learning at the same time. So, so that's the main thing. Outside of that number 1 thing, there's 2 little things. It reminds me of 2 things that happened with Jerry Jones. Now, first of all, it reminds me of Parcells and Zimmer. Now, Mike Zimmer was our defensive coordinator, and very good defensive coordinator at that. And there was no problem. I had no problems with Zimmer. But when Jerry hired Parcells, he liked Zimmer so much, he talked Parcells into having Zimmer onto his coaching staff. The problem with this was Zimmer ran a 4-3 defense, and Parcells ran a 3-4 defense. So Zimmer had to learn the 3-4 because he had only coached the 4-3, and it ended up allowing Zimmer to lose his job. But he resurrected his career, later on by running a 4-3 again. So what it essentially did, it brought Zimmer down. It stopped his progression to where he gets fired and has to go and fix his career somewhere else. So it was a bad career move. It was a bad move for the career of Zimmer, and it was a bad move for the relationship of Jerry Jones and Bill Parcells, because it was the initial bump in the road. Because that I saw it from the initial. It just bothered me. Next, another situation. We had something very similar to this happen when the hiring of Wade Phillips. Jerry installed his new wonder kid. His name was Jason Garrett. So he came on the staff. Then, you made him an offensive coordinator that would make more money than the head coach, basically undermining the head coach with the new wonder kid. Oh, he's our future. He's our future. And basically, to allegedly undermine the head coach to get his job, but that's neither here nor there. But we went 9 years of Jerry trying to convince us that he did the right thing by instilling Jason Garrett and paying Jason Garrett more money than Wade. All the stuff he did in support, because Jason Garrett was the next guy. He knew it. So I don't want to get in that same mentality with Kellen Moore. Let Kellen Moore organically work his way up. Don't force it because, I know more than you. This guy is going to be the greatest when, it's real early in that dude's career. Real. So of course, I may be overthinking this. I probably am overthinking this Kellen Moore thing. But the bottom line, with McCarthy bringing in his own offense, I'm far more comfortable with someone he's worked with before and knows his offense from top to bottom, and keep that person in Dak's ear at all times. The person that knows everything that McCarthy is saying, all the concepts and all that kind of stuff. Get that person and have that person in Dak's ear. That's the reasoning behind it. It's not personal on Kellen Moore, because like I said, I love Zimmer. Zimmer was my boy. But still, when Parcells comes and he runs a 3-4, let a coach run a 3-4. So Mike Nolan, we'll talk about later. I'll explain, what I'm reading about his aggressive style and him creating turnovers, his style that creates turnovers. We're gonna love that. Hope it happens. And also Jim Fossil. It's reported he's going to be our new special teams coach. So there it is. Gonna go in here, eat me some breakfast. Happy to be home, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this coming year. I'm excited. I'll be here with you the whole time. All right, I'll let you. Peace.